Hi, I'm Lady Sunday Sky, but a few of my friends knew me as Sunny Day in Dragon at Home. I'll soon tell my story about playing the game, but today I want to keep a memory for my friend BlissMajesty's base. We will soon take a tour where Bliss recounts their time playing Dragon at Home. I just want to say, before we start, that it is ironic that I would break my audio for this recording. I would often ruin the sound from our walkthrough videos, but I was also a silent viewer on Twitch for Bliss. So there might be subtitles.
Hello, my name is Bliss. Actually had started on the European server for about a week and I was really enjoying the game. And then the first day that the North America server opened, the European server of this game had been out for, I want to say about a year or so. The North America server came out. So I jumped on board with a bunch of other people and we started playing it. It took about a week for them to allow co-homes. After that first week, it was kind of like a mad dash for people to get co-homes because it was quest oriented. And so that's how I got number 4. But to start this, when you first start the game, you're only given a small portion of land to build on. And I wanted to do something underground. And so to start the tour off, I'm going to take you into the brewery. So the brewery was kind of a passion project because I was really into the brewing of the game. And so I wanted somewhere to place all of my, I guess, alcohol bottles. But I also kind of like to make like an area that was kind of beachy, like a little resort type of place. And then it is attached to the underground brewery, which has kind of a bottle of all the alcohols that were available. But yeah, if you follow me in here, this was the first thing that I partook on because I didn't really like to fight, so I mostly just built and collected resources. And each of these bottles, and if you hover over any of them, you can see that each of them have the date that they were bottled. So we bottled these in 2023. I just kind of like that timestamp to know that I did all of these. If you follow me towards the back wall over here, this was a special event, and so I just kind of stacked up on them. After I built the brewery, a lot of people started to really enjoy my build. For a while, I had some younger kids that would just come in and hang out in the pool down here. I later found out that that was a Dryad's kid. She just liked to come down here and hang out in the water. So it just kind of became like this little area. And my goal was to open a restaurant, but we never got to the point to be able to like share food with people outside of our co-homes. So it was never really a possibility. So it was definitely a missed opportunity there. This was one of the first tricks that I showed the server that I found out pretty early because I love kind of figuring out tips and tricks. And this was how to plant trees through furniture objects. A lot of my builds are built with little tips and tricks and ways that I've learned over the years, especially from games like Creativerse, because I used to play Creativerse back when that was pretty popular, and eventually Minecraft, because Minecraft was ironically the later part of me finding out about building games, because I just never tried it. After the brewery, we were going to head on over to this castle, and the only way I was able to get a co-home was to have friends. Did not have those at the time, but I did have a partner and a high school friend, so I made them both make an account. The thing was that I needed to build for everyone, which I'm perfectly okay with. Joof, which is my partner, said they wanted a castle. So I built a castle for her. I don't really know what castles look like really outside of the feature of them having the rigid tops, so I kind of just was winging it. And then after the castle, we got my high school buddy, who was Riot Richie, wanted a treehouse. So I made a treehouse that was to the limits of the building capacity. I connected all 3 of our builds via a little shop because the best attribute of this game was that we could have community shops. I really loved supplying furniture and resources to the community because this game was pretty small. This is the topography table, I think, for maps, but yes, I think it is new. I think it was for the Christmas. I can't check it because I was on Richie's account when I did it. Because eventually my friends and my partner lasted playing this game for a whole week. And then I basically just asked for their passwords and would log on to their accounts and would just build. So I had multiple accounts, but not for the many reasons that other people would probably assume. I just didn't have building property rights on these areas as my main account. So After I got the most important people in my life, made a build for them, then I figured it was next for my puppy. My dog's name is Sable, and so I created a little house for her. I kind of was just messing with shapes. It was really hard to find certain types of stairs and other types of building blocks that other people weren't using, because it's very easy in this game to have a building that looks exactly like everyone else's in order for you to get individual furniture items like these little heartstrings on the wall. You either had to stay around for holiday events, like for Valentine's Day specifically for this, or you would need to level up your carpentry. But if you leveled up your carpentry, it means that you like couldn't be as strong in the fighting realm. So for me, it was fine because I I don't fight. I don't like to fight. That's why I'm still not even max level in this game that I've been playing for over a few years. This was where I decided to put a large portion of the Valentine set, the teacup bath. I put in the window so you can kind of look outside, but furniture is really hard to come by in this game. It was kind of like the boss reward for when you would do like crazy stuff. Thankfully, by the graciousness of the server, since people love to watch me build, donated a lot of stuff. So I had a lot of help from a lot of community members farming raw resources and or specialty items. So I really appreciated that through the community. I want to say it was the Peach Pagoda, which I made as my center hub for teleporters. For a long time, this game was dependent on other players to grind and fight for the teleport shards. These teleport shards created a portal on your property, and basically there's a leaderboard, so the more people that visited your co-home, it put you higher on the leaderboard, and so you wanted people to kind of visit, and it also made you regularly known. So I would pop my portal up right where you're standing, and people would just come over here. I believe I put this nice Christmas tree because that was the last event we did, and this nice fountain over here, this fun drum that was from the ocean boss event, the boat festival. After the Peach Pagoda was when I really started to get into my streaming. And as I said, by a lot of donations, I was able to do builds. There was a fella named Spud, and Spud really, really, really liked to farm trees. And trees are kind of a rare drop in this game. You could cut 100 saplings and get one tree to put on your land, or you could get none, or you could get 4. It was very RNG based. That big blue tree you see on top, I believe that's called a Magisol tree, and that's the rarest tree to get in this game. Bud would farm them like candy. He could easily have sold that at the time of the game for about 25,000 gold, which is an astronomical amount for a large portion of people. But he would gift them to me. And so I made him a house that looks like a whale. And the Magisol tree is supposed to be like the blowhole. But if you look at the tip, you can kind of see the tip of the face with a little eye. I believe my inspiration behind this was like Bubby the whale from Flapjack, but I can't quite remember exactly. Spud was still farming the trees, and so we decided to build a shrine to the creator of the game, because for the time of the community, they were pretty active in it, and they made a lot of visibility in the game. So it was a large portion of fun while they were there. So as a thank you, I tied in a shrine. We have to climb the treehouse, so bear with me. Teddy had a helper named Maki. Maki and Teddy were the ones that were kind of in the game a lot. I like the treehouse because you can get some really nice views of the whole land. But it is kind of a long walk. Like I said, it was to the building capacity. It really has evolved a lot. This was kind of my safe haven for a few years of my life. Yeah, the barn we built on stream. This leads to the Christmas village that I was finishing, but we never got our second season for Christmas. So the roof I spent a lot of time on in this one. I planted a bunch of trees to make it kind of seem like it was the roots of the tree. But you know, some things work, some things don't. It's still different. So to get to Teddy Shrine, I made this little drop here at the top. So you just have to drop down. So Teddy Shrine is at the very bottom level of the build capacity for the co-homes. I believe I did this one on stream. I can't quite remember. I made the roof water, so it's reflective. Well, I made the roof look the same, so it looks semi-reflective. We got a small Magisol tree, which is I was I was praying to RNG gods, because when you plant a tree in your land, it could be big, it could be small, it could be anything. And I was hoping that this would be small. It was small. I was very lucky. So yeah, Teddy for the longest time had these little frogs on his co-home. So I just copied the frogs and put them down in front, and it's a little shrine to remember him. And then I made this little mini game, so people who got stuck down here had to find their way out. I won't make you all do that, so we're just going to run over here. So this leads you back up to my main, this is where I would just craft everything. So this is just my craft home. Nothing too important, they're very basic. One of my major builds that I did on stream was my Halloween build. So when you come down, it gives very spooky vibes. It's got floating candles. Oh, I love this build actually. I like the floating candles. It's got a big old pumpkin. And then it's got this little castle. This was supposed to be a adventure, so you were supposed to find a secret way up, which I could take you there. So I set them loose in here. They would have to find their way out. A lot of times they would come back here and see like, oh, there's a walkway. So they would try to head through here, but they couldn't. I made it unclimbable so people couldn't cheat. Basically, this was the walkway in. They would walk through here. They would wander through here. And then they would find themselves behind those trees that they were looking through. Through here, they would have to go up a long staircase. I really loved pathing and staircases. Also lighting, but invisible lighting. So there's lights all in the ground here. I actually crashed the game and we had to have Maki come save us. We had built too much and we put a tree that was unchoppable. And it stayed in this build for about 2 weeks before Maki had to admin in and like chop it down. So there was a little puzzle once you get up here. I made a labyrinth, or what should be a labyrinth. It's a little maze, but if you take a right up here, go back through here, and then back. Oh no, hang on. Oh no. Have I forgotten? I know it's over here. Yes, it's here. Okay. And this trick I learned from, I don't know where. I've just played a lot of places to be lost. So I put the entrance for this one over here. Nope, that's the trap. Good eye. So I did, oh, and it did get you. Right when you exit, I turned the right way, right behind it. So just straight U-turn. And then you were supposed to go through here. And drop down. From here, you had to navigate which hole to drop down to make it inside the castle. And then I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah. And you would have to redo it if you failed at the... Yep. If you were smart, you grabbed the coordinations before you were up here. Or the coordinates. I believe it's this one. And so when you would drop, it would drop you on the top of the castle. And then you would enter the castle through here. And that was the full... Oh my god, the coffins. I forgot I put them. So, I will take you to my favorite part of this build. Stop climbing the tree, please. Next, and so, like... I'm, like, stuck climbing. Okay. Over here. I made a small little haunted walkway with a bunch of spiders and trees. The pet cemetery took me a while to build, but I really like this. It's a very fun build. It has all the mount heads for the little animals. So I'd come down here and I'd say my I miss yous. After the Halloween build, it was the Mediterranean build, and that was the last big build I did on stream. So since I already had a floating island theme, I did a kind of like coastal Mediterranean mountain build with like a floating island on top of it. The vines took a very long time. I spent a lot of time kind of playing with shapes of the windows, trying to stick to the roundedness of everything, trying to keep everything away from how blocky, obviously, a voxel blocky game will be. So here we are on the first floor with the balcony. Try to put a lot of like waterfalls and keep the water effects to make it look like it's still falling through. The stairs I kind of made confusing because I don't know. It's like chutes and ladders, and I have a thing for just being lost in builds. So this was supposed to be a hotel. I never got to making the hotel rooms, but the top of this building has a swimming pool. I don't like that. I don't think I've ever liked that. Yeah. I'm glad I don't. If I was still streaming this, I would have dismantled that completely. Okay. This is the sky bridge. I really had fun with this build because creating a walking platform that you could see through is just something that I've always been kind of like really into. And this was kind of a combination of using terracotta stone and timber, like just logs, as kind of like the staple. I had to build like the whole bottom with like wood panels, which is furniture, so it took a good amount of time to farm. Good amount of time. Now, I was finishing out this tall tower of windows, which led all the way up to here, but unfortunately, one second. Oh, you're smart. You're smart. Climb that. Yeah. Okay. This was the desolation of my Christmas village. I was laying it out. I really liked the concept of having a whole other aspect of my build that didn't feel like you were still in like the co-home. So yeah, this was the leftovers of the Christmas event. I spent months collecting a large portion of these windows because I was obsessed with these windows. It's actually the water behind the glass, and then I put a bunch of candles over 2 panels of glass, so the candles kind of changed colors. I was really excited for this build. I just didn't get to it because we didn't get any more parts, because these building parts are really hard to come by.
I am so thankful we could take this tour before the game vanishes. Look out for my video coming up, my time playing Dragon at Home. I'll tell you about why we wanted to take this tour, and Bliss and I will discuss what we thought about the game. And now I'm shoving everything into a corny montage. Okay, thanks, bye.
And I know that if I, oh my god, that panda doing flips. Did it just fall to the wind? What was that? Did it just fall? Poor thing.